What is going on, everybody? Welcome to our first Wednesday episode. I'm gonna try and do these like the 3 videos a week thing. I want to try and do separate series, just so you have something to look forward to. So, like, as an example, Wednesday I'm thinking is going to be non-BMW specific related car stuff, like what we're doing today, changing out the shift boot and the e-brake boot with the other one. I mean, the install process is basically the same for like 90% of cars. I mean, you're going to be going through the same procedures and you're just going to have to adapt for your car, but the same steps that we're taking to actually install it around the trim and all that stuff, it's going to be relatively the same. So, I'm trying to come up with a title for the Wednesday series. I was thinking like whatever Wednesday, but I see a lot of YouTubers with that title for Wednesday specifically, but you know, it kind of fits because it's not BMW specific, but I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, throw them in the comments, and well, maybe I'll let you guys choose or whatever. But like I said, today we are going to be changing out the shift brake and the e-brake boot with the black and green one that I showed you in my previous video, and take this these gray ones out so I can I'm going to send one of them off to my supplier for Alcantara and just let them see the long fibers that I'm talking about, you know, hands-on, and see if they have anything to match it. If not, we'll just go from there and get better material that way. So we're just going to be, it is cold. We're just going to be removing this and this here, and bring them inside, and I'll get to, you know, installing the new ones on and walking you through it. Alrighty then. So we are in the house, and I'm going to go over you know, what we're going to need to install the new shift boot. So first off, what you're going to need, some sort of adhesive. Now, I'm using this adhesive because it's more available to everybody. It's not, I've got like more industrial adhesives that I would use for like a professional, if I was doing this for somebody else and not on my car, and I wanted to be like super professional and make sure like everything was 100% perfect and all this stuff, I would use like contact cement adhesive and stuff, but that's super expensive and not everybody wants to go through using all that and stuff. And this stuff, honestly, for what I'm doing and just how it's held up for me, it's worked perfectly fine. So just some Scotch multi-purpose fabric adhesive, fabric being, you know, the key word here. Over here on Deadpool's boobs, we've got a knife, just because you may need to trim some excess material, depending on how your boots are cut. A tool to help you pry off the old adhesive. You know, this isn't anything specific. I just went through my bathroom and found the first thing that looked like it could help me pry stuff off. So I don't even know what this is, but one of these. You may not even need that. And a brush for brushing on the new adhesive because it's super sticky. This empty water bottle here is just going to be a container. I'm going to cut the water bottle so I could spray the adhesive inside there and, you know, dip the brush in it and paint it around so I'm not spraying adhesive all over the place. And then, of course, you're going to need your new boots. Your new little boots, and of course your old boots with the plastic and stuff attached. So set up the tripod and I will get into removing the old stuff. Alrighty, so first, so I don't ruin my beautiful Deadpool mouse pad here, I'm going to get him out of the way just in case the adhesive gets messy. Now I'm going to prepare my water bottle. That way we've got ample room for putting the spray adhesive in there. Got this ready, all set up. Now all we're going to do is remove our old e-brake boot. Well, let's do the shift boot first. Shift boot might be a little easier. So all you're really going to want to do is you'll find that some shift boots that you get are going to have a couple of loops around their clips that hold them in place, as you can see there. All you're going to do is just take the fabric up and off. It might be tacked on pretty good there, so that's why I'm going to use this little like
pry tool to kind of get in there without ripping the adhesive, because I want to save these shift boots, just because I might use them again in the future, maybe switch back to gray and blue if I don't like the way that the black looks. So just really carefully. You could probably use like a heat gun or a hair dryer to help you here, but I'm not, just because I know how I tacked these down originally, so I know exactly where all the glue is and how it's tacked. So I know where I'm going to pry without actually breaking anything. So just go ahead, go around your entire boot if need be, and pry up a little bit of the adhesives. Just be careful not to rip the boot. Just because I feel like Canadian South Park talking about a boot. But just in case you want to save your aftermarket boot that you're putting on, or maybe you're putting a factory one on, just in case you want to save it, resell it or something like that, or turn your car back to stock, just try really hard not to rip the boot when you're taking it off. So we will reconvene once my boot is disconnected, because that's all I'm doing. Alrighty, so your aftermarket boot or original boot is off, and you're left with this frame here. And this frame is just what you're going to attach your new boot to. So all you're going to do to start your new boot is just remember kind of your orientation of how the other one was sitting. Mine have it so both of these stitch patterns, like the cool looking stitching, is facing towards the front of the car, so I know it's more going off towards these 2 points. Your boot might be different, but just remember the orientation of how your stock boot or previous boot was. And I like to start by putting the little clip hole thingies. I like to attach the boot to it first with just the clip holes. Yours might not have clip holes. If it doesn't, it's going to make your life a little bit harder. But the best and easiest way to start that would be the adhesives, starting at the corners of your shift boot. If you have a square or a triangle or a circle. If you have a circle, I mean, that sucks. It's going to be kind of hard. But yeah, just start at the corners, or if you have these little, like I said, like clip loop looking things right here, you can see. Just start by attaching it to your frame with these. Alrighty, so we have it just secured with just the little clips here, and you can see there's a couple of points here and there where it's stretching a little bit. It's you know, it's an aftermarket boot. Maybe my measurements or something like that were a little bit off. I cut just a little bit too much material there, so I mean your boot most likely won't have any issues. So this is one of my first prototypes, so the measurements are just a little bit off. I'm still perfecting how I'm doing things, so expect yours, I guess, to have a little bit better fitment. But I mean, this is working for the most part. It's the same overall concept. Now what you're going to do is you're going to want to spray your spray adhesive into your little containers here. Take a little paintbrush and just kind of paint underneath these inside seams, and you're going to want to tack that down, because just holding by these little clips here isn't going to be enough to keep it tacked down the way that you want it and keep it with a really good feel. Because like I said, you might have a little bit of material missing on the back too, and if it's just held down by these little clips and not actually tacked down with some adhesive, you're going to get you're going to shift into first, and your boot's going to go whoop. That's not something that looks too good. So go ahead and you know, tack your boot down with some adhesive. You can see there I just painted a little thin layer on, stuck it down, rubbed my finger back and forth, generate a little bit heat to help it adhere a little bit better, and it's tacked down. Kind of pretty sharp. Yeah. My next shift boots and things like that are, I just need to allow for a little bit more material here in the back, but other than that, like it should be good. I should be able to get into like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Yeah, like that. It'll work. It'll be a little bit tight, but some people, I guess, like the super tight look. I kind of like a little bit baggy look, but we'll see once it gets in the car. But you're basically just going to be doing that all the way around the boot until everything's secured, your corners are nice, everything looks good to you, and you'll be good to install it back in the car. Alrighty, and the shifter boot is done. The stitches look good, everything is where it should be. This is just a little bit taut, but that's fine. But like I said, that's my error. I mean, I'll probably change it out when I make another one, but the overall gist of it is fine. This little part looks good, and I basically just went, like I said, with a brush underneath all the way around and tacked it down. You can see like where it's pushed down. I just doubled up on the adhesive in the corners just to make sure that they stay down, they stay taut. My e-brake sits flush, or my shifter boot sits flush with this little ridge. So anything below that little ridge, I'm not really concerned about how it looks, just because it'll never be seen. And these clips are holding everything down and sitting it flush here. So as long as from the top angle down looks good, you're pretty much good from there. So the shifter boot is done. If you have any frays or anything like that, you can take like a lighter and kind of get some of those like little wispies out of the way. But just clean it up best you can. Any adhesive that you might have gotten on the boot or on your hands or anything like that, clean your hands real good before you start the next one, just so you're not touching anything like real sticky like. But the shifter boot is done, so we're going to set it over here and let that cure real quick. So the e-brake is going to be basically the same. You're just going to want to pull up on all of your tabs like you originally did. There's just going to be, in my case specifically, there's just going to be less tabs down here to actually to remove. So, I mean, you're just going to have to do a little bit more gluing down here. Alright, so that boot is removed. You can see there's a little bit leftover adhesive on this one, so I'll just use some adhesive remover and get rid of some of this excess, just so we have a good strong bond when we put the next one on. Okay, so this one's fitted on with the clamps too. I cut this one much better. I got a lot of excess material around here to play with to tack everything down good. So basically you're just going to go around and do the same. On this one I'm going to start towards the top here, just because there's a lot of loose material that I want to get tacked down first, and then pull this way for any excess that I need around here on these corners in the back. And then you're good to go then. We're going to go install it in the car after this, so stay tuned and I will get these glued up.
Alrighty guys, we are back into the car now. So we can start with the shift boot. Pull this out of fourth. Now I'm going to take my shift boot and line up the shifter with the little hole that I have placed in the boot, and just pop this bad boy back into place if it wants to. Yep, she's all buttoned up. As you guys can see, plenty of room. She's sitting flush. It looks like stitching looks good. The contrast stitching looks actually really, really good. I'm really pleased with how it came out. Ooh, dropped my knob. So we're just going to put my shift knob back on. Yeah. Make sure that's good. Alrighty, got the zip tie back. So like I said, you just want to push your e-brake boot inside out. With it inside out, you want to slip it over the e-brake itself, and then on mine particularly, there's a little notch on most e-brakes where you can attach the boot to it that's made for a zip tie to sit. So once your boot is over and around, you're just going to place that zip tie around in that little notch. Oh, it's over there. just zip tie it around there, cut the excess off, and then, you know, push the rest of your boot down. So I zip tied down just below the bottom where you can see this little like latch thingy. You can see fitment is good, everything's there, and e-brake is installed. And that is as simple as it is to put on aftermarket shift boot and e-brake, you know, to your liking, to your customizations. You know, a lot of people are a little intimidated to do things like this because I think it's going to be a little bit harder than it is. My car in particular is pretty easy. Whew. Alrighty, everybody. So that is going to conclude this install for the shift brake, the shift boot, and the e-brake boot. The little custom ones I did. Like, there was a little bit of fabric issues that I was having, but that's completely from me just cutting a little more off than I should have. But I'll fix it eventually. I'll remake another one and make it as perfect as possible. There's a little bit of inconsistencies in mine, just because I'm still learning. You know, I'm not freaking sewing wizard or anything like that. So eventually we'll fix it up and we'll get her right. But I'm happy with the way it turned out, and that's how to install stuff like this. It's really easy. But yeah, so Wednesdays are going to be completely devoted to general car stuff, not specific to BMW, but just for car stuff in general that anybody could do to any car that they own. You know, I like to do mods that everyone can do, not just BMW stuff, because these are a lot of mods that I've done to cars that I've owned in the past and stuff. So like I said, I'm still trying to come up with a title for it, like whatever Wednesday, Wacky Wednesday, Wheel Wednesday, I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out in the comments below, whatever title sounds good to you guys. Man, the sun is right in my eyes. This hat is not being a hat right now. It's funneling the sun directly into my eyes. I probably look like I'm like this the whole time. But alrighty guys, looks like I will see you guys this Friday. So I have no idea what the next video is going to be. I haven't even thought of it yet. But until next time, I will see you guys later.